come in here.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he can sit wherever he wants to. He can sit wherever he wants.
We're right beside you. You got any questions when we get started?
I don't think I've ever met Sergeant Ayler. It's on homicide. Detective Morales.
And what's your code?
4582.
How do you spell your name?
Kerrick.
I'm just going to start the tape, and then we'll go through everything, okay?
We turn it off completely.
Nice folks. The date is September 14th, 2013. The current time is 07:18 hours. This will be a recorded statement in reference to case number 2013-0914-035002 for the OIS and the D&E 2013-0914-023600. Interview will be taking place at the Law Enforcement Center in Injury Room 2227. Present Detective E.V. Morales, Sergeant L. Ayler, Attorney Emma Green, and Officer R. W. Kerrick, that's Kerrick, code number 4582. Officer Kerrick, you understand this being recorded?
Yes.
Okay. And are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. And I just want you to relax. Just want to go over a couple things with you, okay? I want you to know that there are two parallel investigations going on right now, okay? The first investigation is the criminal investigation. That is what that's what we're investigating, okay? There is a second and simultaneous investigation going on, and that's an internal investigation which is being taken care of by our internal affairs department, okay? Do you understand that?
Yes.
And I want you to understand you're not in any trouble, okay? You are free to leave at any time. You're here voluntarily, okay? And this is a voluntary statement, okay? You don't have to talk to us, but what we really would like to do is just, to help us with our investigation, we'd like to get your side of the story and get everything that happened tonight, okay? With that said, are you willing to talk to us right now?
Yes.
Okay. Great. We appreciate that very much. There's a couple of things we have to do administratively real quick before we get into everything. All right. Okay. What was your date of hire?
March 22nd, 2010.
2010 something? Okay.
Were you an early hire?
I worked in animal control for a year.
Okay, so when did you actually
I started the academy April 25th of 2011.
Okay. Had you had any prior law enforcement or military experience?
No.
What's your current assigned division?
Hickory Grove.
And what shift do you assign?
Third.
And what are your hours?
8:15 p.m. to 6:30 a.m.
What's your call sign?
12/12/16.
Yes. And what radio talks are you on?
Hickory Grove, Independence.
You want any water or anything?
Who's your supervisor?
Sergeant Couts. Tonight,
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Couts.
And what uniform are you wearing tonight?
This BDU.
Okay, the uniform you're wearing currently. Okay. What's your height and weight?
5'7", 158 pounds.
How much sleep did you get before shift tonight?
7 hours.
And did you work any off-duty prior to working shift?
Yes, sir.
What vehicle were you in?
Vehicle was 028.
Were you the driver or passenger?
Driver.
And did you have a passenger?
No.
Did you use your DMVR tonight?
I did.
One more time?
For the emergency response.
Okay.
Was it on during this incident, or did you turn it off?
It was turned off when I arrived on scene.
And you have to do that manually, correct?
All right. Do me a favor, make your duty weapon safe.
Sure.
And place it on the table.
Do you have did you get any blood or anything on your uniform?
Let me check your hands.
My hand is medic had put some
Clean
stuff
Okay,
on
that's
it.
fine. Yeah, no, it's just more for your safety. But you do have some on your uniform?
Yes.
Boots.
Boots, okay.
Okay.
And I guess I'm
Yeah.
on now.
Okay. Can you also give me, replace your other, your extra 2 magazines for the pouch? Your duty weapon is a Smith & Wesson M&P 40.
Yes.
Serial number is MPV 5520. Number of magazines you have is 3. Do you have any additional magazines at all?
No.
Okay.
Do you carry a backup weapon?
Do you have any secondary weapons issued to you? Shotguns?
No.
ARs? Nothing like that?
Shotgun in the vehicle.
Okay.
There's a shotgun sitting in the car.
You have 1 Winchester 40 S&W in the chamber. Magazine in the magazine well. One, 2, 3. 3 live rounds in the magazine, which was in the magazine well.
Oh, it's 15.
Yes.
Correct, 15 plus 1, 16.
Yes. Mag pouch.
What? I'm sorry.
No. I'm speaking out loud to myself here. $15 for magazine and mag pouch. For second man punch. Put all this stuff over here. You said you don't have a backup weapon? Yes. Okay. And you do have a shotgun in the car. Did you deploy that tonight? Yes. Okay. Present. Do you take any notes or anything tonight? No notes? Okay. What we're going to do is just go through everything. Okay. Just from when you checked on tonight, and just go through everything, calls for service, you answered tonight, what you did, up through, and up to and through the event which occurred tonight, okay?
Okay. I went out to my patrol car after roll call, checked the car over, got logged on, got a found property call, reference a firearm, went to the house, picked it up, turned it into property control. Went back to the office, completed the report, left the office, received another call for service. Trying to think of what it was.
That's okay.
Answered one or two more calls for service. Then I went to eat dinner around 12 o'clock. Came back. Went to another call for service. Was Morrison, the gas station. Left there. Went to zone check. Our Cricket store. They sent a CAD message that the one just got broken into in day 3. So checked that. Left there, pulled into the office parking lot. I was sitting to the walk inside when I heard already one B&E call go out. 2 officers got dispatched to it. The suspect was on scene. So I had dispatch add me to the call. I activated my emergency equipment, proceeded to the location. Prior to pulling into the neighborhood, I turned off my emergency equipment. Pulled up on almost right in front of the house. Shone my spotlight. Shone my spotlight around the house, around the property. Didn't see anything. So it was fairly dark right there in that spot. Left my spotlight on and left my headlights on. We got out of the car, and I heard something that sounded like yelling or a loud human grunt sound coming from across the street. I didn't pay much attention to it at first, but I heard it again, and it was just I couldn't tell if it was somebody screaming or if it was, I knew it was a human. So I started to walk up. I was the first one on scene. I started to walk up to the house, got about middle way to the driveway, and Officer Thornell pulled up. So I turned around and advised him that I heard somebody screaming across the street.
What is he, Thornell?
Thornell.
That's his last name?
He pulled up. I advised him that somebody was down there screaming, yelling. We should go check it out, because I didn't know if it was related to the B&E. Dispatch had given out the description of a suspect wearing a green shirt, pants, black male. Where they said they were kicking at the door or had tried to push their way in the door. So Thornell takes off to go down there to check to see what that was. So I get back in my patrol vehicle and proceed to go down there as well. As I'm pulling up, Officer Thornell is outside of his patrol car. I see a subject fitting the description of the B&E suspect walking towards Officer Thornell. Officer Thornell had his taser drawn out on the subject, and I could see the dots, the red dots on the suspect's chest, so I knew the taser was on. Since he had a taser, I went a little lethal and drew my firearm out. The suspect kept advancing on Officer Thornell, but he deployed his taser. It did not sorry.
Okay.
Take your time.
Take your time.
Taser did not affect the suspect in any way. So I yelled for the suspect to stop. And he turned and faced me and started coming towards me. And he kept coming towards me, and I was yelling, "Stop! Don't move! Don't move! Stop where you're at!" I was actually backing up in the process slowly. Still had my gun drawn on him, but he was completely focused on me. I was giving him loud commands, loud verbal commands. But he just wasn't paying me a bit of attention. Stop. And then when he got within, let's say, 10 feet of me, I fired my duty weapon. It did not faze him. He kept coming towards me. I fired again. And in the process, I was still backpedaling. It started to seem like my firearm just wasn't working. So like I fired three to five shots standing up. Somehow I ended up on the ground. I'm not sure if he pushed me or if he tried to grab me. I ended up on the ground, and he started to advance up my pants leg. And was coming up towards my gun at some point. I felt him hit my gun or grab at my gun. When I took my left arm and was trying to pull back enough to give myself enough room, still telling him to stop. Nothing I would do. Nothing I would do to get him off of me. And so I fired again. I felt like it was 2 times, and I guess striking him above the shoulders as he was coming at me, trying to get to my gun. Then I backed away and kept my gun drawn on him. And he was still trying to advance towards me, but I just kept my gun drawn on him. I couldn't see his hands. I kept telling him not to move. Then Officer Parks showed up and put handcuffs on him, and everybody was asking if I was okay. And I remember just going and sitting in the patrol car.
Okay. I'm gonna just should we go back through? We're gonna go back through everything again. And try to be a bit more detailed this time. Okay.
Do you have your baton on you?
Somebody said I didn't have it. I guess I lost it out there on the ground.
You don't remember pulling it out?
I didn't know that.
Go back to, you said you had arrived back at the team office, is that correct? And prior to going to the office. All right. And what were you going to the team office for?
I was actually going to go try to get a vacation day for today.
Okay.
Saturday.
All right. You said you heard this call go out. How did you hear about this call?
The dispatch sent it out as a priority 1.
Okay. And was it over the radio or
through the radio?
Okay. And you heard it, and what did you do when you heard it over the radio?
2 units were going to it, and they advised that the suspect was on the scene. So I said 12 till 16, you can add me to that meeting.
Okay. Did you immediately leave, or did you go?
I immediately left.
Okay, and that was from where?
From the team office.
Which team office?
Tinker Road.
Okay. All right.
What was the information being given out over the radio?
What I recall of it is that there was a party one being a female was at home, so somebody was trying to, I don't remember if it said kick in the door or get in the door. And then as I'm driving to the call, another officer had asked dispatch to give out the description, or had asked if this female knew the suspect, because we get that a lot of times. And dispatch advised no. Then the officer had asked the description, and she had said a black male, green shirt and pants. And then other officers were advising where they were at, because she was asking for an ETA for officers, who's closer. I guess, I ended up being the first one there.
So you received information that a female was home, and that was the caller, correct? And that a suspect was trying to either kick or get in the door?
Correct.
Okay. And the description of the suspect was a black male with a green shirt and pants?
Correct.
Was there anything else you can recall, any kind of other information?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. And let's go back to when you left the office. What type of response did you utilize to get to this?
Emergency response, emergency equipment.
Okay, and describe that for me.
It's turning on my blue lights, activating my sirens, and running the yards on.
How long, if you recall, and if you don't, or if you don't know, how long do you think it took you to get from the team office, Hickory Grove team office, to the scene?
Maybe 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes.
Okay. All right.
When did you deactivate your blue lights and sirens?
About a quarter of a mile from the residence.
What was the purpose for doing that?
I figured that the suspect was still on the scene. The last update we had, that he was out in the front yard. I figured if he was on scene, I didn't want to spook him off. But if he hears me coming, obviously he's going to run.
Okay. So you're saying you didn't want to alert him?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. All right. When you arrived on scene, tell me what you saw, what you observed, what you did.
When I arrived on scene, there wasn't hardly any light at this house. It was a very dark front yard. There is a few street lights in the neighborhood, but this particular house is kind of on the corner of the street, kind of where the neighborhood begins. So there's not really, it's very dark right there. There's not a house to the, if you're facing the house, there's not a house to the right of. So the yard was dark. Shone my spotlight in the front yard, looking around to see if I saw anyone. Got out, exited my patrol vehicle, left my spotlight on in the front yard, and that's when I could hear some yelling, grunting across the street, closer to the pool house.
Are you familiar with this neighborhood? Have you been there before? Is this your assigned response area?
It's not my assigned response area, but I have been in the neighborhood.
Where did you park in relation to the house? Were you right in front of it or a couple houses down?
Kind of right on the corner of it. Not directly in front of it, but right on the corner of it.
Is this up here? This map?
Here's just the house.
Familiarize yourself with this map.
This is the house. I parked about right here.
Okay. Draw a box and put a number 1 there for where you park for your patrol vehicle.
You put the direction of the car.
It's not even right real well on that. You already see.
Yeah, just that's where your car station.
So you parked just slightly prior to the house.
Correct.
Okay. You said you had shined your spotlight into the yard towards the house.
Right.
Okay. And exited your patrol vehicle.
Yes, sir.
What did you do next?
I began to walk up through here. I was shining my flashlight. Like I said, I could hear the screaming back here. I looked back there a couple of times with my flashlight. I didn't see anything. And right about the time that I got right here in the driveway, another officer was pulling up here.
Okay, so you actually entered the property,
Right.
the curtilage itself?
Right.
Okay.
Which officer was this?
This was Officer Clark. This was Thor now. He had pulled up, and I guess he got ready to exit the car, and I told him, I said, "Hey, there's somebody screaming really loud down here. Let's run in there and check that out real quick." I believe another officer was coming up from this way, this direction. I'm not sure who it was. And I can't be 100% sure, but I believe an officer was coming from right there. Officer Neal wasn't far behind me. So I told Officer Thor, let's go check this out. So he takes off down through there.
Okay, so Officer Thor, he never exited the vehicle, his vehicle?
No.
Okay. What did you tell Thor when he arrived?
I said, "Hey, there's somebody down here yelling, screaming, or making a real loud noise, like a grunting sound." And I said, "Let's go down here and check this out, because I don't know if it has anything to do with this. I don't know if this guy's done grabbed this female out of his house and took her down here, So I wanted that to be a priority since there was so much of it going on."
Okay. And just backing up real quick, when you did go into onto the property, into the curtilage, what did you observe? What did you see?
It was very dark around here. I looked at the front door real brief with my flashlight. I didn't see any marks on it or anything that I could tell. I believe the garage was over here.
Were there any lights on at all?
I don't recall there being lights on. It was very dark.
Did you see anybody anywhere on the property or anything?
No.
Did anybody come and make contact with you from inside the house or
No.
from around the property at all?
No.
Okay.
If I heard you right, your concern is that the possible suspect may have taken the female
Correct.
out.
It's very dark, which is, to me, was a little odd for somebody who was calling 911 about somebody trying to get in their house. So I wanted to check this out.
Officer, you're saying Thornell, right? Is he black or white officer?
He's black.
Okay. Are you sure that's his last name?
I call him Thor. I believe his last name is Thornell.
Okay.
How long have you worked with him for?
So I graduated the academy October 7th,
Okay.
2011.
Could that be his first name?
Could be.
Okay. I think it's Thornell Little.
That's it, yeah. Not a
Okay.
little.
Okay. I just
Sorry,
wanna make sure-
sorry, that's my
I just want
fault.
to make sure we're right on the officer.
It's just not working
That's
for other
fine.
stuff.
So it's Thornell Little, but fairly
Yes.
tall,
Yes.
black male. Okay.
Wears glasses.
Okay.
What was that?
So you're up there. No one's making contact with you. It's dark. You're doing a cursory search, a cursory observation of everything in the yard.
Right.
And you heard yelling come from this way. Officer Little is coming from. Do you know what the street is? This one here?
I know Clayford Ridge is way up here somewhere. I don't know if that's the first street. I don't know if that's the first street on the left.
This here, and the big picture and the little picture. So Officer Little is coming from this way here towards you. I guess you said Clayford Ridge. Is that correct?
Is somewhere in here. I don't.
Okay. He arrives. You describe.
It's the pool. Yeah, so he would have been coming up from here.
Okay. And you briefed him on what
Right.
you had observed and heard and stuff.
Correct.
Okay. And what does he do?
He already in his patrol car. He takes off down through this way.
He ever exited his patrol car?
No. So I get back in my patrol car, of course, to back him up down through there. And I go down through there, I get behind his patrol car, and I see that he stopped about middle ways.
Let's go to the big map here. How far down did you guys go? And which street is that?
I don't know the street name, but it's where the pool access is at.
Okay, so Reedy Creek Pool Drive on this map is where
That would be it.
How far down did you guys go?
About middle ways, about here.
Okay. If you want to put, again, draw your car and his car. And if you could put a 2 for your car.
Draw it kind of big. So you see it.
You mind if I stand up, sir?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And just what direction your car is facing.
It's going to be odd. So, for my car, it'd be a 2?
Yes, sir. And do his car a 3. If you need to draw it a little smaller, you can do that. Yeah.
You see that?
We're going to get something, we're going to get a better marker. I usually bring one in and figure out one. There we go. That's what we need.
Okay. I can just do this over then, right?
Yep.
Okay. When I pull up,
And which way, both your cars,
oh,
which way are
they're
they facing?
facing this way.
Okay.
So this is him, and this is you.
Yes.
Put an L on his car, or next to his car for a little. Okay, there we go. Alright.
Okay, when I pull up, Little is out of his patrol vehicle. And the first thing I've noticed that I observed is his taser's out.
Okay. What side of his patrol vehicle was he on?
The driver's side.
Alright. And was he posted on the vehicle, or where was he positioned?
He was kind of next to it, a couple feet away from it.
Okay. Just out towards the side, or in front, or back?
Towards the side.
Okay.
On the driver's side.
More towards the back of the car, though.
But on the driver's side.
On the driver's side.
Okay.
Then I see the suspect matching description of the B&E suspect, black male, wearing pants, a green shirt.
Describe the person you saw at that point in time. Just describe everything about that person.
Black male, short hair. Let's see, 5'9", 195 pounds. Muscular build. He had some crazy looking eyes. I don't know if he was wearing contacts.
Elaborate on crazy looking eyes. What drew your attention to his eyes, and describe, try to be a bit more detailed about crazy looking.
They almost look gray. Like
Okay.
they almost look like they were a hologram of some sort. They almost looked like they were gray.
Like you see sometimes people wear
No
contacts.
contacts. It was very strange. Then I see Officer Thornell has his taser out, so he has non-lethal. So I draw my duty weapon. I notice the red dots are on the suspect. So Thornell obviously had his taser turned on.
what was the positioning of the red dots? If you could show us on yourself, or you can show us on me.
The last time that I had seen them, they were about like that.
Okay, so you're indicating basically above his right, upper right chest and lower left stomach, is that correct?
Around that, yes.
At this point, what distance are y'all from him?
Thornell's actually pretty close to him. I was more towards my patrol car.
If we stand up and someone
And if we need to open the door to get the distance,
Okay.
we can do that.
Yeah, you'll have to open the door. Okay. Where Christian's at is about where they were, and I was about to be.
Yeah, hang on.
Okay.
Where that blue chair is at. That seems probably pretty close to where they were at in conjunction to where I was
Okay.
at.
Were they, so you, was that where Officer Little was? And
That would be where Officer Little was.
Okay.
And the suspect, at this time, when I noticed him, he would have been at the far wall where the glass is at.
Okay.
Okay? I'm me, you're Little.
Okay, so I'll be,
So I should be facing this way.
Correct.
Suspect
Correct.
here.
Okay. Now, Thornell has his taser out, and the suspect is coming towards him. You come towards her.
Okay, so
Now,
you're back there,
Yes.
and Little was about where this
Right.
computer is,
Right.
and
And I'm
almost to the window.
and I'm coming in slowly, and I stop about right here.
Okay, just get you on the tape. You're back here against the wall, you're back here against the wall. Officer Little would have been about where the computer is
Yeah.
out here, and the suspect would be almost to the wall where the window is to the building.
Roughly.
Correct? That's when
Roughly.
you're in initial contact with him.
Roughly.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Keep going.
okay, yeah.
Okay. The suspect still approaching Officer Little.
Mhm.
You know, he didn't care. The taser was on him.
Was he saying anything? Did you hear him saying anything? Was he grunting still?
I don't remember if
Okay.
he was still grunting, but he just had a very, say, aggressive posture. He just acted like he didn't care.
Describe that in detail. You're
Well,
doing
just show us how.
Yeah,
show
I
us
mean,
how he was. Was he clenched up?
Yeah, he was coming towards Officer Little, kind of like this. Just, I can't recall that he was squeezing his fist, but it was, you know.
But he had his fist balled up. You're indicating he had his fist balled up.
Yes.
Okay.
He was coming at Officer Little. Officer Little had turned to the side, and the suspect was right here. And Officer Little had tased him. Probably.
Can we show that distance in here, or do we need to open
You
the
can
door?
probably do that in here.
Well, can we do it this way?
Sure.
So show us, you be the suspect, and you show us the distance you think
Okay.
Officer Little was.
About right here, when he actually tased him.
Okay.
And is Little, are you giving him commands?
I don't remember if he was or not. I couldn't hear if he was or not.
Okay, were you giving any commands?
At this point, I was not.
Okay, so he deploys the
He
taser?
He deploys the taser. Did not. I saw the little confetti come out, and I heard the taser sparking, but did not phase the suspect
But
whatsoever.
do you know if the probes actually stuck?
I do not.
Mm.
I do not. But I know he didn't flinch. And that's when I yelled, "Stop, stop," and he focused on me.
Now, where are you at? You're still little.
At this point.
Where are you at this point?
Okay, I'm little.
Yeah, you're little, and this is the distance here between little and suspect.
Okay.
Where are you at?
About like this.
Okay, if you're little, I'm gonna be you. Where are you at?
And we'll have to go
Well,
up.
I'll be little.
Okay.
How about that? That'll keep it. I'm little. I'm here, and I've deployed the taser. Where
Okay.
are you at?
Way back here.
Way back here.
Yeah.
In an estimate.
We can do this again. Are you staying right there?
Okay. So I'm.
Okay. He's
He's the suspect. I'm
you're
little.
little. You can scoot on up there closer to him. If you turn to the side, I can get a better vision because the suspect is actually to the side. And that's him turning to the side. Yeah, and you face him. It's kind of like that, yes.
Like this.
Yes. I was further than this.
Okay. Further back than that. Much
Yep.
further, or just a little bit further?
Maybe to the corner of the desk. Okay.
So the suspect is at the corner of this desk the computer's on. I'm up close to him, and you're where you're at.
Yep. And then I said, "Hey, stop, stop." And he looked at me, focused on me, started approaching me
Okay, so now he's moving.
aggressively towards me, and
Okay.
I have lethal on him. So as he's approaching me, I'm backstepping,
Okay.
and I'm yelling, "Stop, stop, stop." And he starts to do something over here on the side, and then he starts to run faster. He starts not running, but he starts moving faster. And when he got to about this distance, I have my gun out.
Back up a little bit.
And
So this distance.
when he gets about this distance, I fire my weapon, and it doesn't faze him.
Do you know how many times you think you fired at this point?
I felt like I had fired 2 to 3 times here, and I'm still backpedaling, telling him to stop. I'm backing up, and he just comes at me even faster, and so I'm like, and my gun's it's not stopping it. At some point, I'm not sure if he pushes me or if he grabs at me, but I fall on the ground.
Okay. Can you get down on the ground the way you were positioned?
Okay. I get down like this. And I believe he was still up.
How were tell me about his hands and his positioning of his body.
At this point, he was just doing whatever he could to get towards me.
Can you see his hands at this point?
At this point, I can see his hands.
Okay,
Yes.
and you don't see anything in his hands at this
No,
point?
no, I don't. He lunges at me, gets down here by my feet. I felt a jerk on my gun.
Okay, can you put him in the position
Just watch out.
and describe the lunge? What do you mean by lunge? Because he's still standing, right?
Was he like this here?
He was actually like kind of down here with me.
Okay, was he laying on you?
Like
or was
grabbing at my leg, like coming up my body. And I'm trying to still get away. I'm trying to backpedal.
So is he down like down on his knees, or is he down like on his belly?
Like kind of more or less on his belly.
Okay.
Kind of like that. Kind of like that. And I feel a jerk. At one point, I let out a yell. I don't know if I said help. I just remember yelling and screaming because, and so I'm still trying to get away. And I got hit in the mouth at some point. I don't remember when he struck me in the mouth.
Okay. And you say he struck you in the mouth?
Yes.
I mean, do you remember him actually, like, throwing a punch at you, or do you just know at some point you were hit in the mouth?
I just know at some point I was hit in the mouth.
But you don't distinctly remember him throwing a punch or anything? Okay.
Because it would have happened when we were on the ground.
And also, when you said you felt a tug, was that on your actual gun or on your arm?
While my forearm was out.
Was he pulling on your arm or the actual gun?
It was actually on the gun itself.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm still trying to pull away, and at this point, I'm firing to get him off of me. And I'm firing, he's still aggressing towards me, and
How is he moving? Just like a crawl?
yeah, just still advancing right towards me.
Like this here?
Kind of like a belly crawl?
Yes, but he's more or less on me.
Okay.
Of course. And then I don't know if I hit him in the face, in the head. I don't know, but
When you say hit, you mean with
the
the rounds?
Correct, the rounds. But one shot made him stop enough to where I was able to get up like this, and I got some distance, and he was still trying to move towards me, still crawling towards me. I was still yelling for him to stop. My only fear when I was on the ground is that he was going to get my gun and shoot me with it, and then the door was out there. Because the gun wasn't stopping him.
Did you fire any more rounds once you got up?
Once I got up.
So all your rounds were initially when he was coming at you, and then when he was down on the ground, and you say he's grabbing at your gun. Okay. Do you recall what Officer Little was doing during any of this?
I don't know what. I know Officer Neal was there, and I know Officer Fuller was there, but I do not recall what they were doing. But I still had my firearm drawn down on him, and I believe I hadn't quite stood all the way up, and I was telling him, don't move. And he had his hands tucked under here.
So he's laying belly down and he's got his hands up under his belly?
Yes, but he was still trying to crawl.
Like, was he like this here, or was he?
It seemed more like up here. Yeah, and he was still trying to crawl towards my direction, and I'm still saying, don't move. And then Officer Parks pulls up and says somebody needs to put handcuffs on him, and they ended up cuffing him. They asked me if I was okay, looked me over real good, and then had me go sit in my patrol car.
Okay.
When you first, if you want to sit down, if you want to stand up, you can stand up, it's not a problem. When you first got there, I want to talk about going back to the Reedy Creek Pool Drive. When you guys arrived on that, when you first observed him, what was his clothing description? What was the clothing that you saw on him?
A green T-shirt, kind of a like a lighter green colored shirt.
Okay. Do you remember your pants, shoes, anything like that?
He was wearing long pants. I don't remember what color they were.
Okay. Do you recall any other outstanding features about him?
No.
Jewelry, tattoos? Did you see if he was injured in any way?
No.
Okay. I can't recall. Do you recall what Officer Little was saying?
I do not.
And when you first got there, how long was it that you, I guess, what was the time span between when Officer Little had arrived and first made contact with him to when you arrived?
He pulled up. I was probably 10 seconds behind him.
Okay. So there was somewhat of a small gap.
Yes. I mean, Officer Thornell was already out of his patrol vehicle and already had his taser in his hand.
So it was not simultaneous?
No.
Okay.
We didn't pull it at the exact same time, yes, sir.
Okay. Describe the lighting conditions for me.
There is lights through that strip. Lights aren't very bright, and there's spots of shade because there's actually a lot of wooded area out there. So there are street lights, but it's not very bright out there.
Okay. Did you have your headlights on?
Yes.
Okay. How about your spotlight or your takedown lights?
Takedowns, no. Spotlight, yes.
Okay. Were your blue lights activated?
No.
Okay. And how about your DMVR?
No.
Okay. Flashlight?
I don't believe I had my flashlight in my hand. Yes.
Okay. All right. And I think I'm reiterating this, but tell me what he was doing what the suspect was doing when Officer Little had the taser on him when he first arrived.
He was coming right towards him.
Okay.
He was coming at him like he was going to attack him.
Okay. And you couldn't hear if he was saying anything or if Officer Little was saying anything?
I couldn't. But I know that if I did not go down there with Officer Little, something really bad could have happened to Officer Little.
Okay.
When you first see him and you see that Officer Little has his taser and you see the dots on him, can you explain why you pulled your weapon?
With our training that we go through in the academy and just my experience on the job, if somebody has a taser, another person needs to go lethal, but we don't know what this guy's got on him. He just broke into a house. We don't know if he's got a knife, if he's got a gun. And that taser's, it's not going to do nothing when somebody draws a gun on you.
Okay.
And then obviously, the taser didn't work the first time. And I didn't have time to even try to put my firearm away and go for the taser anyway.
Can you try, when he turns and focuses on you, what's going through your head? Why do you feel that you need to fire your weapon at that point?
At first, I try buying some distance by backing up, and I'm telling him to stop, hoping that he'll stop. And so I keep backing up, and then he starts going right down here. He starts moving at a much faster pace, and I couldn't back up.
So you're saying here, so he's reaching in his waistband area?
He was going down in this area. He didn't actually stick his hands down in his pants, but he was going down in this area. And I yelled, stop, and then he picked up the pace really quick, and when he got right up towards me, that's probably from me to you, I'm still backpedaling, and that's when I fired a shot. I didn't want him to take his gun from me.
Was his shirt tucked in or out?
It was out.
So
What I recall, it was out.
You couldn't see if he was grabbing for anything?
No.
So what's your concerns when he's reaching in his waistband?
There could be a gun there. I mean, it don't take him but a second to grab a weapon. And if it had been a knife, he was close enough distance to where if he had got to me, he could have harmed me, or could have easily got to my gun.
Okay.
I feel that if I did not act when I did, that he would have been able to take my gun, disarm me, and take my gun, because the first couple of shots did not faze him at all. Absolutely at all. And I suspect that I was hitting him, but I guess there's a chance that I wasn't.
So you couldn't tell if you were, you would assume you were hitting.
Right. Like I said, I think that was the biggest shock to my body, that here I am shooting at someone, they're still aggressive on me, even on the ground, and I fire shots this close, and that's doing nothing.
You don't recall him ever saying anything. He never responds back to any of your commands.
Like he was completely zoned out.
Did you, when you actually made physical contact with him, did you notice anything about him, about his person? Did you observe or any other senses take any kind of effect at all? Did you smell an odor?
No.
You have any questions?
You said you knew that he had already deployed his taser because you heard him talk, right?
Yes.
And he still just walked right past the officer.
Correct.
Towards you.
Correct.
And can you show the officers, show the detectives the inside of your mouth where you were struck?
Yeah. You want to watch them?
Yeah.
You watch them.
That's an open bus, so I think one of them.
Here, these are clean. Yeah, you've got like a little bubble blister.
It kind of feels like it runs from here down to here. On the
Yeah, a
inside.
little like clear bubble blister.
And that happened when he was on the ground. So he was close enough to you to strike your face, so obviously he was close enough to grab your weapon, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you, how fast did it take him to get to you? Even with you backing up?
I mean, seconds.
Even with you backing up?
Even with me backing up. I mean, the only other option would have been for me to turn around and run. Yeah, I mean, he was coming at me, and he was not letting up whatsoever.
And you couldn't hear what he was saying, but you know he was saying something.
When he was coming towards me,
Or back before when he was
back
little.
before when he was little.
And when you were demonstrating to the officers, or to the detectives about his posture, and you said it was aggressive, and was he pumping his fist, or what was he doing?
Just coming at me,
Like, I mean, are you just like rigid, kind of?
yeah, just kind of rigid. Like people that just get really, really pissed off.
Is that what he looked? His facial expression?
Yeah,
Did he look?
he really didn't have any real. He was just look. I can't hardly explain it. I mean, he was just bulked up, and just coming straight to wherever he was going. He wasn't focusing on nothing over here. When he had his mind set on me, he was coming towards me. And at first, before I got there, it seemed like he was focusing on Little. And after Little tased him, and I said, stop. And he looks at me and comes towards me, and I'm like, okay, taser didn't work.
Okay. Can you stand over here and be Officer Kerrick, and then you go outside the door and try and show us the speed that he was coming at you?
At first it was just a brisk walk. I'm backing up, and then he's like this, and then he starts doing like this. So when he gets to about right there is when I fired.
That's when you fired your
shot.
first round. So he was right on top of it.
I felt like he was right on top of me.
Okay. So, in your words, can you try just to clarify what aggressive act he was doing that made you felt like you needed to shoot at him? And what's going through your head?
I felt like that if I do not shoot at him, that he was acting like he was going to cause me harm. I felt like he would take my firearm away from me. He was close enough to do it if I hadn't fired around. But it took my firearm from me. I felt like he would have shot me with it. And then Thor would have been out there in a gunfight with the suspect.
And some of that's based on how quickly he's moving towards you, and that you're telling him to stop if he won't stop.
He's coming towards a deadly force situation. He's coming at me. I've got a gun drawn on him, and he just didn't care. He didn't care. And he fit the description of somebody who just broke into somebody's house at whatever time of night it was, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Can I ask one more question? Did he at any point, from the time that you got to the scene, when you saw Officer Little have his taser trained on him, did he at any point pause? Did he at any point give any pause?
No.
Or was it his actions toward Officer Little and then directed to you?
Directly towards Officer Little. He was walking from a distance towards Officer Little, straight. I don't know if when I pulled up, it pulled his attention off Officer Little. Officer Little tased him, and he just straight towards me. Not once did he pause, did he flinch, absolutely nothing.
So the whole thing was fluid. He was
yes.
going towards him, focused on him.
Absolutely.
Then you're giving him commands, and now it's focused on you.
Straight towards me. Absolutely nothing.
At any point, did you consider reholstering and going hands-on?
I wouldn't have had time. I wouldn't have had time to holster my weapon.
And were his arms long enough? Well, they were obviously long enough to hit you in the mouth. So they were long enough to grab your gun, which was in front of you. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And could he have reached his arms to the top of your head?
Yes, sir.
How tall are you again?
5'7".
And how tall were you estimating him to?
5'9".
So he was taller than you.
Yes.
And you described him as fairly muscular.
Muscular build. Yeah, he wasn't fat. He wasn't real skinny.
And you've never seen or dealt with this guy before, as far as you know?
Man, not aware of it.
We receive, training through our VLT and stuff. You received that training through rifles.
Yes.
So when did you say you went through the academy?
August 25th at the start of the academy of 2011.
Okay. Prior to that or since then, have you received any type of specialized training? Any training above and beyond what we receive as officers through the department or through state training, anything like that?
Yes, sir.
Nothing like that? No type of specialized training?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nothing through the military, anything like that? You said you were never a member of the military or not?
Yes, sir.
No martial arts
Yes, sir.
training. Okay. We're going to go check on a few things, and then at some point we're going to come back and take photographs of your injury to your mouth and the blood on your uniform and your shoes. And
The medics also washed off a lot of the
okay. So we're going to step out, so do you want us to turn the camera off, or do you want to step out here
We'll
and talk
step
to
out.
him? Okay.
Is it okay if I run to the restroom too?
Yeah,
Sure.
real quick, do me a favor here, I just want you to sign these, this just, so, this is
Just step out there, and then when you get through,
you were
well, you
initiating.
can still sit out there. When we take photographs and stuff, or if we need to ask anything else, we'll come back.
Let's get it easier.
Hmm?
Let's get it easier.
Well,
Just hold. What's getting easier for me? Just pretty tough.
You want to sign this one here?
I mean, it's not full signature.
Just whatever your mark is.
yeah.
Current time is 08:28 hours, this will conclude this interview.
Need any more water?
Nothing.
Anything to eat? How about you?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. We'll be back in, and y'all can step out and talk. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yes, you may.